with the to get 6 rounds of the Champions League before November and the amount of games, and you look at the other teams, particularly Liverpool with their injuries, do you think that this season could be down to fitness will be a huge part, and it'll be whoever stays
every
fit?
season it is. So of course the change a little bit, like you say. So today the Champions League is shorter, and not sure it's the same amount of games, but it's right now, and that's why I had to be carefully. But all the season, when you have injuries, normal, it's part, but we have a lot, I have many, of course, influence, but not for this season. I think all the time, because the previous season, now we have Champions League, but the previous season we have Champions League, we have FA Cup, but Carabao Cup, Premier League, so we didn't have long weeks, so it's not going to change much in that terms. I don't think so. Hopefully we can, now we have a problem in central defenders without Nathan, and we had Jaime. We have just 2 central defenders. Hopefully Jaime come back soon, because we struggle when we have many in same positions. It's difficult, but we try to avoid it. Everyone works for that, but sometimes happen.
I understand you like to work with this size of squad, but with some of the problems like central defence, why would you not look for something short term in the market?
Well, we thought about that, but at the same time Nathan is coming back soon, and I think at the end of September, early October, so Jaime will be back too. So then, I'm happy with that. And if at the end we woke up in the morning and we said, maybe we should buy a central defender, maybe we'll go for it. So I don't know. Right now, we are not thinking about that.
With the central defenders, do we know how long Ake is going to be out for?
No, not much. Yes, they start running. It feels good. So, no, not much.
Because obviously there's been reports this morning that Luke Mbete is going out on loan to Huddersfield.
Oh, there are incredible news here. I have to come quite often because I know the news through you, so that's good.
Not through me.
I didn't know it. I know that have a concussion, Luke, and was in Barcelona one day, and looking forward to see him again today. How does he feel? This is the only news I have, so the club didn't inform me, but of course it's working, and maybe it's going to happen, I don't know.
But would that not be, with what Mike was saying, would that not be a problem if you have got injuries at centre-half? Is it...
Yeah, but maybe he needs to play regularly to see him is ready to play with us and playing quite often, more minutes. Like for example, Romeo, it's already sell, but some players are alone, like Maka, like Liam Delap. It's important for them to play regularly. Many games. Cole is not going to happen because we count on him. But the reason why, maybe for the position that they play, they have many players. Maybe it's better to, as a club, myself, the players itself, to realize if they are able to play with us, because the gap I said many times to play here in academy to the first team is so big in terms of competition every weekend, and we have to sometimes it's good to see him, his development, and his development always has been done playing games, not just training. Of course, training with us is important, but playing games is the most important.
Actually, then you mentioned Cole. Then what sets Cole apart from some of the other younger players? What makes him stand out? And how?
In his position is one step forward for the other ones. So I think all the other guys could play with us, but we decide in that position, sometimes loan, sometimes here, but he's with us because he has a special quality. Unfortunately, last month was injured, and now he feels good, and he played really good in Barcelona, and he's a player can play with us, even can play in 2 or 3 different positions. So. Without a problem.
Hi Pep. After the last couple of games, you've talked about Phil, about how he's got this aggression to go forward, and that he can make something happen out of nothing. But I also know that over the last year or so, you've talked about Phil. Maybe he plays in one gear, and he maybe needs to add different tempos to his game and different gears. Is that something that he will be able to add, and is that something that you've been working on him with recently?
Question of time. Yeah, I don't want he lose this gear, this space that is unique. But in the final third, always has to make sometimes to. When you had the right decision with this gear, is amazing. It's the most important thing. But sometimes when decision maker is not perfect, you have to reduce your gear to take a better decisions. So, and it's a question of time. He's still so young, incredible energy, and I feel he's a key player, important player with us. So in many things.
It's interesting because everybody always said that he'd be kind of the replacement or the next David Silva, but he plays in a very different way to David Silva because obviously Silva had a lot of different gears. But do you think over the years that is more the kind of thing he will be able to do when he adds those gears? Is that how he will look in 4, 5, 6
He can
years?
play there. He can play right now, even in the middle. So he can play there in I think all in the academy career. But now we need, I think, more up front. First, because the sense of goal is incredible. But I think he can adapt perfectly in position from Kevin or Gundo, Bernardo without a problem. He can do it right now. He doesn't need to wait.
Just for the first goal against Barcelona the other night, was it Sergio who put the cross in and the goalkeeper dropped it? But before that, Phil got the ball on the edge of the box and passed it backwards. Is that the kind of thing you're talking about with the decision making?
No, but yeah, in that game, yeah, because the control was through the spectators, I could not go. But what I want to hit the ball against the fullback, go to score a goal. I don't want to pass back. But when you go, you have 3, 4 players back or 3 players on him. There are 1 or 2 players free, and you have to pace the ball. So the decision, it depends. It's not all the time you have to pace back, all the time you have to go, all the time you have to shoot, all the time you have to cross. Every situation is different. The biggest players are in every different situation and in every single action take the right decision, depending on where are your mates, where are the movements of the opponents, the position that you have. And that's why it's not PlayStation like you guide what you have to do. They have to decide in the moment. And the biggest players always is who decide perfectly in every action.
And just one more thing, sorry, if that's okay. There's been a lot of talk after the last couple of games online about Phil not passing to Haaland. That's not necessarily my view, but you mentioned after the Bournemouth game when he didn't pass to Haaland that they need to know that he's there. After the game against during the game against Newcastle, it seemed like you were annoyed that he didn't cut it back, but at the same time, it didn't seem like the pass was an option. Like, what do you think to this idea that?
Listen, the two similar action is what you remember. Maybe I'm pretty sure you remember. You have a good memory. When we play in Anfield, I think it was a 2-2, the pass from Kevin or Gabriel, I think so, and shoot the goal and score. It's quite similar actions. But in that moment, maybe you feel we don't sometimes proper striker. Now we will know that in that situation, Julian as well, but Erling is always there. And he will realize that he can shoot because he's how many goals to score in that position? A lot, Phil, and I want that. But now he will know, because now he review the images and he will see it in that position, always. The position is there. So lately, the second goal we play in Camp Nou, so with the overlap from Joao with them, we're 2 or 3 players. Cole was there. Erling is always there. It's his biggest talent. When he's there, the guy is there. And yeah, question of time, like I said many times, to know each other and see it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, Pep. I know we're only a few games in. We've got used to yourselves and Liverpool dominating in the Premier League, but we've seen so far Arsenal looking good early on. We've seen Chelsea strengthening considerably, Liverpool dropping points, yourselves having difficulty at Newcastle. Do you think this could be, off the early signs, do you think this could be the toughest Premier League for some time?
I would say that first, I don't know. Every season looks the same, and it's too few games to, from my point of view, make an analysis exactly. Give me 10 games, 10, 12, and after I would say my tendency, what I'm seeing, maybe will be like that. So in football, I know it's your job and even my job not to try to figure out what's going to happen. It's so difficult. I'm not able to going to happen in February, March. How the teams will be. Arsenal continue there, or we are better or worse. Liverpool. What we have to do is improve our last games that in general have been really, really good, and try to improve every game. So this is the target.
Have you been impressed with the likes of Arsenal and Tottenham, though, who starting to look better?
But I didn't have any doubt. So the quality of managers, the squad, the biggest team. So apparently in this part of the season, always there are 5, 6, 7 teams always. This season. But it's just how many? 3 Premier League games. For me, it's too early to give a conclusion that will be like this. Even giving a conclusion, I can, make a mistake. So give me 10, 12 games, and after we'll be more, more sure exactly how is the smell for the teams.
Hi, Pep. 20 games in the next 2.5 months. How would you describe that period? Have it been so intense for you previous?
Yeah, quite similar. I don't remember 1 year Premier League like we have, except last season that we were out for the Carabao Cup in the second round, in the first or second round. The rest always we arrive in the last stages. So I would say it's quite similar every season.
And over to Liverpool and Manchester United, it's early to have a long analysis, but what did you make of that game?
I didn't see it.
Didn't see it?
I went Girona Getafe.
And this period we're talking about, is there anything special you have to do when it's so intense, with so many games and so only 3 or 4 days rest?
Sleep. It's the best.
Hi Pep, Sergio Gomez looked very confident at Barcelona. Obviously the initial plan wasn't for him to be with you, but what have you made of his first week at the
For this be the first game in Camp Nou, knowing still many things, talking a lot, what we do, what we want to do in this position. But he's a guy who's so clever, attention, a lot of quality with the ball, a lot of quality. And with a long season like everybody knows, will be important, like George as well.
Well, with sort of Sergio and Josh and Rico played, I know it was only a friendly on Wednesday, but for them to play in front of 90,000 people.
I'm really impressed with them, especially Rico, start there against Ferran and after against, was Ferran and after the players in this scenario, in this stage, like it's wow. You look in the sky and around the tribune and the seats and play with, like normally can training. Means a lot. I have a huge personality.
Just generally on the, you spent quite a few days in Spain training. Was there anything in particular you gained from those days together?
My tan. Don't you realize?
Hi, Pep. You mentioned about obviously the matches against Palace last season. Looking at it now, do you sort of think, right, okay, well, I'm going to do something slightly different or set up slightly different, or do you go into it thinking, well, we had it right, but it just didn't sort of come off?
Well, I would say don't do a mistake in the first part of the transition, in the first part of the process, like they punish us here and there. The chances they had, especially in the first half, were like this. They are so dangerous in the second balls, in the long balls, in the sides where they use strong and after they attack quick. It's a team that the long balls they use perfectly the body with Saha, Eduardo and Yayu and another striker. So they are strong. And after read where are the spaces to attack because they close really well the spaces in the middle, really well. Sometimes jam, sometimes they close the 5. And after when you go outside, because they allow you to go a little bit more outside to be so clinical there and avoid the transitions. They don't need. So Liverpool was amazing the first 15, 20 minutes, create a lot of chances. They defend really well, resilience, the keeper is good. And one action, in these balls, you, me, you, Eze had the ball, dribble, counter-attack, goal. And this is the strength of these teams. They don't need much. They continue, okay, no problem. They don't never lose organization. And after, when they know, they will have in set pieces. When Roy Hodgson beat us, he always was in set piece. So always they wait a real moment. Of course, if they let them play, they have the quality to play, because all of them they play, they have talent. So that's why you have to be, from the first moment, to be there.
Hi Pep, I know you said you'll know more after training this afternoon, but has Jack Grealish been involved in training this week? Obviously he's had a bit of a knock.
I will see it, but I don't think so.
But has he trained this week? Or earlier this week?
Train alone.
Hello?
No, with the team. It feels better, but I would not do press conference after the training session, but if we out the training, I will tell you. But my feeling now, I don't think so. We'll be ready for tomorrow.